What up, guys? Jason Godwin here tonight. And tonight, I want to talk about the end of the season and how we can double what we did last year. That is my goal for you today is how can we grow your business in 2026? I always like to figure out at the end of the season of what went well, what didn't, and what can we do to make it better. And also, I've got a new design here because I was having a little bit of problems here, being able to see some of your comments in here. So I had to get some glasses on here. It's more of reading glasses than it is for seeing glasses, but it is something that, it is what you have to do. You hit the age of 40, 45, and things start happening. And so it is what it is, but I'm wearing them tonight so I can see the screen and do this. Now, this is something that I always do, even in mentorship. I did it the other day, and I want to bring it to here because if you did 20,000, if you did 50,000, how do we get to 100,000? If you did 100,000, how do we get to 200,000, 500,000? And I did push this a lot in the pressure washing and Christmas lights because it's not really one or the other. It's, if I'm looking at my average tickets, and so I'm going to talk about some key indicators that we need to look at and how we can grow in 2026. What did we do well in 2025 and what can we do better in 2026? And so I know a lot of people have grown this year. I've heard people hit $100,000 in Christmas lights, $100,000 in pressure washing. Some people hit $500,000. David Hamill did $500,000 just in Christmas lights alone this year. Excuse me. And so I want to talk a little bit about how and why these things are important to not only figure out what do we need to do, but the other thing I want to hit on tonight is what is your marketing plan for the next 6 months? Starting in January, what is our marketing plan that's going to get us through June? I don't like doing a marketing plan for all year long because we don't know what might be working and what's not. And so I like to sit down and say, all right, what is our marketing plan for the next 6 months? So that way we can follow this marketing plan so we can grow this business. And so whether we're talking about a marketing plan for pressure washing or for Christmas lights, these are the things I really want to dig deep in tonight of how you can get your business to hit $100,000. Maybe you want to hit $500,000. Maybe you want to go after 1 million, 2 million. And so whether we're talking about 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, million, 2 million, the principles are pretty much the same. And so that's what I'm going to hit on tonight. This weekend, it got cold here. I went outside and we went sledding with my daughter today, my youngest, and we went sledding, and so it is cold. We got some snow last night. We got about 4 to 5 inches of snow last night. It is 0 degrees. The windshield like negative 22 or 23. It got cold really, really fast. I don't know if it got cold where you guys are at. But it did get cold here. Tomorrow is supposed to be cold also, but it is supposed to start getting back up into the 40s this week and actually into the 50s by the end of this week. And so it is going to be warm. I will be putting up a permanent light job here this week. And so that's kind of way my week is going to be. And so, but today I really want to talk about how we can grow this business. And so, what is the expected net profit for your third year putting up lights? And them are all good questions. And I will answer that question of what is that, right? Do you want the net profit to be 30, 40, 50%? And some of it's really going to depend on, are you part of the net profit or are you paying people to do this? So that's what we're going to hit on. So first thing off, I want to talk about what do we need to know about this year. So whenever I talk to people, I always want to know a couple things of what is your average ticket? Because at this point in our business in December, we should have our numbers down and we really need to look at and say what is our average ticket in 2025. Rather, we're talking about pressure washing or Christmas lights, and we probably should have two different ones, right? If we're doing both, we should have a pressure washing. If we're doing landscaping, if it doesn't matter what you're doing, we should have two different ones, right? We have pressure washing Christmas lights. Some of you guys are just Christmas lights. Some of you guys might be just pressure washing. So what is my average ticket for 2025? And this is something that is important for us to be able to see what is our average ticket. Because if I don't know what my average ticket is, how can I get more work? The next thing, after we find out what our average ticket is, I want to know what is my close rate. So for 2025, what was your close rate? For Christmas lights, was it 15%, 20%, 25%? For pressure washing, was you at 30%, 50%, 75%? Because with Christmas lights, it's going to be a little bit less. With pressure washing, it might be a little bit more. What other service industry business that you're in, it might fluctuate, right? And so the reason why we need to know these two numbers is because if we want to double what we did this year, we need to know kind of our numbers. If we don't know our numbers, we won't know it. Then the third thing is what worked for you in marketing? Did you ask how they found you? A lot of times this is something that I always ask of, how did you get most of your business? And some people are like, I don't know. I didn't ask. I'm assuming it's Google. I'm assuming it's Yard Sign. I'm assuming it's Facebook. But we're assuming. And so this is why it is important that we sit there and we look at what is it that we are doing in our business that's growing. Did I put out 100 yard signs this year and it made me $30,000? Or did I do Facebook ads and it made me this? And this is something that I see Bearded Softfoot put, marketing is my downfall. And it's not just your downfall. It's a lot of people's downfall because we believe that that's a cost, but in reality, marketing is an investment. If we want to double our business, it's not going to happen because we got more equipment. It's not going to happen because you're the best pressure washer out there. It's not going to happen because you're the best Christmas light installer out there, right? It's going to happen because we got to market our business. And I'm going to tell you how I grew my business. So we were sitting at about $200,000, $200,000 to $250,000. And I had did a little bit of Google ads, like a little bit. I wasn't very good at it. I was doing like $10 to $20 a day. And so this is in December, I was looking at my numbers and I was looking at everything. And I'm like, we're getting a lot of leads off of Google. We're spending $10 to $20 a day. What would happen if I took that $10 to $20 a day and made it $100 a day? And at first, that scared the living crap out of me, right? That scared me to death when I seen, what if I went from $20 a day to $100 a day? That was like, Jason, that's like $500 a week. That's like $2,000 a month. I was only spending $10 a day, $300 a month. And I was like, if I spend $2,000 a month in my business, where would I be at? And I'll tell you what happened. That's how I got it to $1 million a year. was by me spending the two, actually, for pressure washing, I was spending, and Christmas lights, I was spending $100 a day per truck. So we had 4 trucks running. So we were running anywhere from about $300 to $400 per day in Google Ads. Now, I didn't run my Google Ads on Sunday because typically Sunday is not a good day to run ads because I wasn't answering the phone. And sometimes I didn't run them on Sunday or Saturday because depending on if I was going to answer the phone or not, I didn't run them. And so I would say the same thing. If you're not going to answer your phone, don't run ads on Saturday and Sunday. And I only ran my Google ads from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, the time that I knew that I was going to have someone answering that phone. And this is how I took my business from 200,000 and got it to $1 million a year, because this is what happened. Now, I have a good friend on here that he's came to one of my classes and he spent a lot in marketing. And this is what I will say about that. You have to test and see what's working. We can't just dump a bunch of money in things and say, well, Jason, that didn't work. I'm going to use, for instance, I've got a company that I know that do really well with EDDM, every door direct mailers, and pressure washing. But it kind of sucks for Christmas lights. But he's got it dialed in on the right ad, the right deal, and the right website to go along with getting the pressure washing side really good with EDDM. If you don't, you can dump a bunch of money and you will lose a lot really fast. I see someone put in here on radio ads, right? I know people that have had great success with radio ads. I know people that have not had great success with radio ads. So for me to tell you my top ones that I personally would, if I'm going to invest in anything, one, it's going to be yard signs. 2 is going to be Google ads or Facebook ads. And 3, I hate to say this, but they're coming back, is Yelp ads. They're probably going to suck, but if just like getting reviews, we should be getting our Yelp reviews also, because Yelp uses, or ChatGPT uses Yelp, and Apple uses ChatGPT to find jobs. So that's why I'm saying these things. All right. So we figure out our average ticket. We figure out our close rate. This will tell us how many leads do we need to have. So if I want to make $100,000, let's do math simple, right? If I want to do $100,000, this is bad advice for a new guy. Just keep it simple and build your network. People can lose their ass on Google, Facebook ad. And see, this here is how you don't grow a business either. Because I didn't say go put a bunch of Facebook ads and Google ads out there. I'm saying this is what I grew my business. I'm going to tell you, if you're just starting out, that it's going to be a little bit different. I'm talking about going from 50,000 to 100,000 and 100,000 to $500,000, because that's the difference between that. Not this here of starting out. If you're starting out, I'm going to tell you to go to yard signs. Your network is only going to get you so far, because I will tell you, I can look at your network and probably go to your Facebook and you have 5 friends. That's your mom, that's your aunt, and that's your cousin. And between those 3 people, you're probably not going to grow a very big business out of your network. Now, you probably have a whole phone of people that you can call, but most people aren't willing to do that because it's scary. And if you want to grow a business, it is going to be scary. So let's go back to this, right? What's our average ticket? What's our close rate? How many leads do we need, right? If we want to hit $100,000, and let's just say I'm going to just say with pressure washing Christmas lights, just an average, just to keep some numbers simple. Your average ticket's $1,000. Hopefully with Christmas lights, it's up. Hopefully with pressure washing, you're about $1,000. So if you're at $1,000, that means you need to do 100 jobs, right? You need to get 100 jobs. Now, let's just say you're amazing. Let's just go back to this. Let's say you're amazing at closing jobs at $1,000. So that's going to put you at, you're going to need 50% close rate. So that means you're going to need 200 leads. You're probably going to need more like 300 leads. 300 leads to be able to get to your $100,000. This is where people don't realize of, if you want to get there, you've got to be able to close more than what you're doing here. And so I've helped hundreds and thousands of businesses get to $100,000. I've helped probably 50 get to 7 figures. So this does work. I know Dylan Wash don't think so, but this does work, right? I want you to understand this does work. I'm not talking that I haven't helped it or even done it myself. If I didn't do it myself, I'll be honest. Was I the $99 guy when I started out? Technically I was, because I was doing Groupon and they charged $200 and I got paid $50 or $100. You got paid 50% of it. And it was the biggest pain in the butt. And so that's how we were able to do this. And so this is something that as we are growing our business, this is something that we need to look at. So we know what our average ticket is. We know our marketing. What are we going to do for marketing? Now, I'm going to give you 2 paths for marketing. Path 1 is you don't have no money. Path 2, you got a little bit of money, right? You got some money you're going to be. So there's 2 ways to get customers. You either have time or you have money. Those are the 2 ways that you get customers. You have time, and that's what I'm going to go off of first, right? You don't have no money, you're broke, you got very little bit of money. Now, if you went and spent $20,000 on a pressure washing rig and you spent no money in marketing, that's called not a smart move. That's called you're going to go out of business. You know how I know that that's how you're going to go out of business? Because I've seen it happen over and over and over. So, no money. And I'm going to show you something here, Barry Little. Barry Little actually does this plan right here that I'm going to talk about. This is how he's grown his business to 7 figures. He spends this much money on marketing. Very little on marketing. 0 money on marketing. Now, how do we do it? Same way as Bobby Duncan does this. Same way as Andrew and Savannah down in Florida is another one that can do this also. So let's talk about it. We have this thing on our phone called Facebook. Facebook is a great way that you can make a lot of money doing it on your phone. Now, how do we have to do it? You know, I get hate. I got some hate mail today. I love hate mail. You know why? Because it actually drives more traffic. And so that's the best thing of it. You know, when people start arguing with me, that's the best thing ever because it just drives more traffic and I appreciate it. So if y'all want to aggravate me and get me going more, just start talking some more and that's what it is. So let's talk about it. One is Facebook. You are posting on Facebook 10 times a day. And if you tell me you can't post on Facebook on 10 times a day, because you're broke, I'm going to say that's why you're broke. So this is something of why. So we spend 0 cash, but drop 5 videos a day, minimum 5 days a week, minimum on all platforms. I'm just talking 1, and I agree with this. So 5 videos a day. I'm going to say 10 because the reason why I'm telling you to post 10 times a day on Facebook is because you'll probably might post 5 times a day. So you're going to post 10 times a day. You're going to post videos. And yes, you're going to post videos of you because your customers want to see you. You know, I've got some hate mail today talking about my AI. If you're not using AI, you're going to be left behind, whether you like it or not. And I've got people talking about how long my posts are. You know why I do that for? You want to hear a little secret? Because the longer you're on my post, guess what Facebook's going to do? They're going to show you more of my stuff because you've read through my stuff. And guess what? Everything I give, I try to give value on every post that I give out there. You know, I get to see Barry Little here. He's always talking about the city he's working in, the people that he's looking for, and he gives value. He lets customer knows what's going to happen. And you don't just talk about your business day in and day out. That's not what you talk about, right? You don't just talk about, I'm a pressure washer, I'm a Christmas light installer, I'm a Christmas light. You know, Barry's talking about, he goes in and there's the little kid out there selling popcorn for Boy Scouts. And he just gets them on video and be like, we're here at the Lowe's in front of wherever, Alabama, Tennessee area, and we are just here. And, you know, if you need to get some popcorn, come and get some popcorn. Because guess what? Other people are going to go help the little kid. So my Barry helping the little kid, he's just a big kid anyway, right? Barry's just a big kid. If you haven't met Barry, he's a big kid. Don't grow old and be grumpy. Don't grow old and be grumpy like these guys here, right? Don't grow old and be grumpy because it doesn't do you any good. Have fun with this. Whether we're talking about pressure washing Christmas lights, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're going to post 8 to 10 times a day. We're also going to post in local groups. We're going to get into our local groups. And no, we're not just going to talk about you being a pressure washer. When someone says, hey, I need a good electrician, Sparky will burn your house down. He's a great electrician, right? Hey, I need a good plumber. Well, Bob the plumber is a great plumber out here. We're going to give other people, and we're going to give them what they want, right? That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to change the name of this game. And we're going to give people value. And then when people say, who's a good Christmas light installer, you'll have 10 people say you are, because you've been promoting all these other people. And when they know you're the Christmas light installer, you'll have 20 people saying, Jason's the best Christmas light installer. Jason's the best pressure washer. Jason's the best landscaper. Jason's the best window cleaner. Because that's how Facebook works. And your best groups to get into is your mama groups. And so if you can get into them, or there's ways that you can get into them, that's good. So that's Facebook. The other free thing is you need to get your Google business profile up. You need to put 100 pictures on there. You need to get reviews, and you need to work on these reviews like it is your last day. Like you are working on these reviews, you're going to come up with a script that when you're talking on the phone is, hey, you know what, Miss Jones, my goal is to make you so happy that you want to leave me a 5-star review and tell all of your friends. And then when you knock on the door, hey, we're here to hang these lights. We're here to pressure wash this. My goal is to make you so happy that you want to leave me a 5-star review and tell all of your friends. And then at the end of the thing, you're going to say, hey, Miss Jones, is there any reason why you wouldn't give me a 5-star review? Any reason at all that you wouldn't give me a 5-star review? And she's going to say, no, this looks amazing. And then that's where we're going to get a tap card out. We're going to have a QR code on our phone so we can just say, here, just QR code my phone. We're going to make it super simple, and we're going to get that 5-star review right now. We're not waiting for some time else. We're going to have a tap card. We're going to have the card, whatever it is. And this is how you're going to be able to get these 5-star reviews for your business that will help you out tremendously in the end. Because that's the difference. That's the difference in helping you grow your business. Now, we talked about the free ways. If you want to add Facebook ads, you can run Facebook ads. If you want to run Google ads, you can run Google ads. It doesn't matter what it is. We can run these ads from this here. So that's how we can do Facebook ads. We can do this without money, with money. The goal is, how do we get more leads? And so what I would say is if you know, some people are like, well, Jason, how much does it cost to get a customer for Christmas lights or pressure washing? Typically, it's going to cost you about $200 to $250 a lead or a job for Christmas lights. That's how much it's going to cost you. Some might be cheaper, some might be more, but that's where it's going to be at. For pressure washing, you're probably going to be around the $100 to $150 per job. I always say spend 10%. So if your average ticket is $2,000, that means you're willing to spend $200 to get a customer. If your average ticket's $1,000, then your average ticket is $1,000. But let's talk about this. I want to talk about something right here. How do we get our average ticket up, right? How do we get our average ticket up? And this is a big one. Do you speak or do you think positive or do you think negative of everything? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know Barry speaks positive of everything he thinks of, right? It's always in a positive. He's not worried about his competitors. He's thinking about positive. He's not worried about that they only charge $6 a foot. He's going to charge $10 a foot. And this is where I see people get it wrong. I actually had a conversation this past week with someone, and he's on this call right now, and I've seen his videos. When you think broke and you always think cheap, you're going to attract those types of clients. You know, my friend Daniel, he did over $1 million. $1 million, right? $1 million. $1 million. He is the most positive person out there. He thinks every customer is amazing. He thinks their house is amazing. And he never uses the word cost and cheap and those types of words in any of his marketing. Other person I'm talking about, he's always talking about cheap, and I can't believe how cheap these people are, and it's just like cheap, cheap, cheap. And when you got a mindset that everything is cheap, you're going to find all of the cheap customers. I would bet $1,000 when you have a mindset thinking about cheap, you are going to be cheap. This is one of the reasons why I say I can get someone making 6 figures before they come here and do pressure washing Christmas lights. If you were making $100,000 in your job and you started a business, I can get you to $100,000 a lot easier than a guy making 20 or 30 bucks an hour, making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, because they think money is you work and you get paid, right? People that understand how money works, it's just fluent, right? It just comes in, right? It's fluent. And this is how this works, because if you think in your brain that it's always cheap, I will guarantee you will get the cheap customers. I would bet money on it that you will get cheap customers over and over and over. And, you know, when you think that I want it to be, when you think that way and when you are that way, when you believe that I need to find the cheapest thing, I need to buy the cheapest whatever, guess what your clients are going to be too? They're going to be just like you. They're going to be thinking, I need the cheapest pressure washer guy. I need the cheapest Christmas light guy. I'm going to call 5 different places so that I get the cheapest price. I don't care if their customer service is the best. I don't care if they have fast shipping. I don't care if I can get it in 1 or 2 days. I want the cheapest. I'll buy from China because it's cheap. And I just want cheap. I don't care if it takes me forever. Because you have a cheap mindset. And when you have a cheap mindset, your customers will be cheap also. So get out of that. Get out of that mindset. Are you going to spend money? Yes. But do you want your customers to spend money or do you want them to be cheap? So how do we get our average ticket up to $1,000 in pressure washing? How do we get our average ticket up to Christmas nights to $2,000, $3,000? By changing our mindset and changing our belief. Because this is something that at this stage in this business, what sets you apart is what you speak. And if I'm on Facebook, if I'm on whatever platform I'm using, and all I'm doing is speaking cheap, guess what customers I'm going to get? Well, Jason, they're calling 5 different people. Do you call 5 different people when you're looking for something? Do you call 5 different people? You probably do. And here's what you find out. The same thing they do. 4 of them don't answer their freaking phone. But yet the 5th one does, and they're cheap. And that's what I want to be. And I don't want to be that, right? That's how we got to change our mindset. Quit being cheap. Because if you're cheap, your customers are cheap. And I'm telling you, right? I know that Barry's on here. We landed a $4,000 state job, Alabama power washing job this week for our nonprofit community geared toward Facebook videos. Videos work great. Facebook works great. TikTok works great. LinkedIn is another one. If you want to do large commercial work, LinkedIn, man, LinkedIn is a freaking gold mine. But it ain't going to happen overnight. It's going to take you 6 to 18 months to really get LinkedIn working in all of its gears. And it's a hammering down, right? And no, we're not doing 10 videos on LinkedIn. We're making 1 post, we're making 1 video, one of each per day, one or the other per day. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to comment 5 to 10 on 5 to 10 different posts. That's the difference between Facebook and LinkedIn. And there's some other really cool tactics that you can use for LinkedIn that can grow. Benjamin Gregory, pressure washing guy, doing $2 million off of LinkedIn. It's out there. It's out there. I promise you. You know, you might think that there's no money to be made, but there is. And quit worrying about your competition. You can only get better than you. You know, I've been called all kinds of things here lately. I love the haters. You know what I do them within my group? I boot them. I don't even mess with them. I boot them. I get tired of the hate. I just boot them. I don't want to be around negative people. If you want to be around negative people, don't join either one of my groups. I'll tell you right now. If you want to be a hater, go hate Gatorade somewhere else. If you want me to help you grow your business, don't bring a bunch of hate. And in my groups, don't be posting any of my competitors because it's my group and I spend a lot of time on it. You don't go into a Honda deal, wondering about a Toyota deal. So why are you coming in my group sharing other people's stuff? Quit being hating on me. If you don't like it, I've been called all kind of words, but that's okay. I want to help people. I want to help people get to 6 figures. I want to help get people to 7 figures. You know, here's CJ, right? CJ's been coming buying stuff from me here local, and it's awesome. You know why it's awesome? Because I've been able to help him, and that's what I want to do. I want to help you too. So that's the thing that I want to grow your business. I love helping people grow their business. And a lot of it has to do with changing your mindset. What's keeping you to get from 6, 7 figures is right between years. That's what's keeping you from there. Because if you come to me when I ask you different questions and your first thing is an excuse, you will always have excuses for everything that comes. What are you going to do to change it? Is it an excuse or is it a learning curve? That's the key, right? Are you going to keep it as an excuse or are you going to learn from it? Because that's what the goal of this is how do we get this and how do we grow this thing? I bought cheap car parts and get what you pay for. Cost me triple the cheap parts to fix it right. And I agree. I know what you mean there. I agree 100% on that. 100%. All right. So again, know your numbers. What's your average ticket? It's the end of the year. What's your average ticket? What's your close rate? What worked well this year? How did you get a lot of leads? What are you going to do next year? So this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down, what are you going to do the next 6 months? I want you to write down, how many times a day are you going to post on Facebook? And I want you to write this down. I want you to write down how many times you're going to post on LinkedIn. I want you to write down how many times are you going to post in Google My Business. I want you to write down how much are you going to spend in yard signs in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, or July, right? Put it down. If you're in pressure washing, you know what? I'm not going to put no yard signs out in January. In February, I'm going to put out 50. In March, I'm going to put out 200. In April, I'm going to put out 400. In April, May, I'm going to put out another 400. In June, I'm going to put out 200 because I know it slows back down. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to write down what I'm going to do. Because if I write it down, when you take that pen and you write it down, it like takes something in your brain and it does something that I'm going to do that. And then I want you to post it somewhere so you see it. I want you to post it in the bathroom so every morning you know that if I want to hit my goal, I have to do this. If I'm going to hit my goal, I got to do this. Oh, I didn't put out my 50 yard signs. I'm going to go put them out so I stay true to my word. Because when we are consistently doing this, I promise you it'll grow. You know what makes Barry grow? He consistently posts 5 videos a day. 5 videos a day. Think about that. 5 videos a day. And if you don't believe me, go check his page. And you're going to see he posts 5 videos a day. And I'm going to hold him accountable to do it. I don't need to hold him accountable because he knows it makes him money. And some people might be like, well, Jason, I don't know how to do video. Get on your phone right here. It's real simple. Get on your phone right here. And I'll tell you what else you can do. You can just get on your phone here and get into the video app and make a video. And it's going to look stupid and it's going to be retarded, but that's okay. That's how we're going to get better. And we're going to have fun with it. You know, this is one that I love. So I always talk about video in my in-person classes. And Bill Lasky, I think that's his last name. He's out of New York. He's in upstate New York. Never had posted a video. Never done a video in his life. And he come to class, and Mr. Barry was there, and I was talking about video. And as I'm talking about video, literally as I'm going through class, Barry had posted like over the weekend almost 15 videos of just my class. So I'm not just saying that he does, I'm literally showing him. And so Bill was seeing this go down as we were talking. And so Bill was like, how do I do this? So he made a video, and then Barry sat down and showed him how to use CapCut, cut it up. And now he's a video making fool. let's see if I can go. And he's got this elf costume, or Grinch costume, and he is just loving making videos. And so you can see that he's grown his followers to 910 followers. He has 1.2 posts, and you can see here where he has posted videos, right? December 6th, he had posted videos. Now, he kind of slacked on me here, but you can see on December 5th, he was talking about the girls, right? And so you can see that he posts videos. And that is the really cool part of watching people come and take action and grow their business. And so with that, what questions, or I should ask, what is your goal for 2026? Do you have a goal set yet? Have you thought about this goal? What is your goal? I would love to see it in the comments. Put your goal in the comments for 2026. And I'm going to go back up here, and we're going to start going through some of these questions. I know I didn't hit many of them. Growing next year by offering pre-stained fence builds, going to market hard for it. Awesome. Is in the house. How are you doing, Bearded Soft Wash? So, again, I love my haters. See, this is the crap that people worry about instead of worrying about their business. You and other suppliers have ruined this industry. You don't get it because you're not an installer yourself. There are way too many doing it now. All so you can sell some materials. Again, I know someone that lives in this guy's area. I know this guy and how much he's made. And I can tell you another guy that I've trained has done twice as much as he does and does half as much work. Because some people just don't want to listen. They want to get on here and complain about 50 other people. And here's what I will say about that. Yes, do new contractors come into this business every day? And the answer is yes. But there's also probably just as many that don't make it because they don't do what needs to be done. They won't spend money on marketing. They won't get on Facebook and post. They won't put out yard signs. They won't do things when it gets hard because it's too hard to post on Facebook. But I can come in this YouTube live and I'm going to post a negative I'm going to post a negative thing in this Facebook thing right here. But by God, I can't go into another community group and talk about someone else's business that's going to actually grow my business. I'm going to throw negativity out, and I don't want negativity vibes. Again, if you don't like it, go into another group, go into another live, and take your negativity vibes somewhere else. Because negativity isn't going to grow your business. It's going to hold you back. And if you want to be around negative people, then go around your negative people. That's why I have my Monday night lives, because I want positive people. And if you want to join where other positive people is, you can join King of Pressure Wash. You can join my Christmas Light membership. And guess what? That's where positive people are. Because I don't want negative vibes. I hate being around negative people because it doesn't do any good in the end. And sometimes do I still struggle being negative myself? And I do. But I don't need to be around other negative people because then it just like lights a fire. And I don't want that fire. I want to be fire lit by positivity. And that's why I don't worry about people like that. I break down everything per service to know my numbers in each service. Which service is the most profitable and chase that. And this here is very important. This is why we want to know what our numbers is. Because we want to know what making us the most money. Is it something that we think it is, or is it something that we know it is? Because if we know our numbers, then we're going to know what's making our money and what is not. Um, let's see here. Anytime, anytime I ask a customer, how did you hear about us? I always follow up and have them seen or heard about any because the customer may have seen an EDDM, but then decided to Google us. And that is very true, right? Sometimes when we, for whatever reason, it's the touches, right? If we know that we have so many touches, that's why we want to know how many touches it takes for them to get it, for them to be able to know where we are and how much it is, what we're doing, right? That's why I want to know what my touches are so that I know how much my business is making versus not making. Is that makes sense? So we want to always ask what, where, and what the reason, how did they find us? Because a lot of times they might find us on our yard sign, but then they might Google us, or they might see, right now the big thing is the reason why we put our number on our Facebook ad is because they might see that Facebook ad, but they might Google that. And so then it technically comes in as Google, but technically it was our Facebook. And that's why we want to always ask where they are and what they did. $1,000 average ticket is very low. This is cheap. You should be coaching people to have way higher tickets. And I do. $1,000 for pressure washing, and you should be getting an average of $1,500 to $2,000 for Christmas light jobs. I've got guys getting $2,000 to $3,000 average ticket for Christmas light jobs. But there's a lot of people out there that will not raise their prices. The reason why I teach $8 to $12 a foot for Christmas lights is because I want you to be profitable. And the only way you're going to get your average ticket up is by being at $8 to $12 a foot. What's up? As I said, Barry's in the house, which I already knew that. I don't know why my thing is being stupid here, but it keeps going to the top. Let's see. This past year, I grossed $204,000 off of 312 estimates at a 67% close rate. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'd say raise your prices is what I would say. Thank you for sharing this. The people with no money organically can outwork and outrage and outperform the people with money that don't put forth any effort. Organic coupled with cash. Is that the lowest rate, or should it be the close rate? The close rate. Preaching the truth. Let's see. Outrank and outperform. Jason, I know you hate flyers, but it's been my best ROI. I'm having a high school skinny kid now do it. And that's a way that you can grow your business. With Christmas lights, I'd really never heard about door knocking. And I know a guy that's getting $500,000 to $750,000 out of door knocking. And so door knocking works. And so I do know flyers work too, because I've heard some other people do flyers. And so, flyers, door knocking, they all can work. And so if you don't have money, then don't make excuses of why you're not getting jobs. If you're not getting jobs and you're on this live and you're just sitting there, wanting to know why, then go post in groups. Go do a live. Because here's the thing, even if you do Facebook, it's not going to happen overnight. You got to find friends. You have to find things that will grow your business, right? If you're sitting at 100, 200 friends, then Facebook's not probably going to work for you. But on the same note, Facebook will push things out. I'll show you something here because I'm actually trying to hit a goal here. And this is my goal, because people are always hating on me about my stuff of, I can't believe you do this, and you put these posts and whatever these posts are, and they just love to hate on me. But that's all right. So if you go in, if you have a professional dashboard, if you have a creator account, you can see that I have 7.6 thousand followers, 1.2 following, and I've done 9,000 posts. And you can hit on professional dashboard, right? Professional dashboard. And you can see in the last 28 days, I'm at 956,000 views. And so I'm trying to hit 1 million views is what I'm trying to hit. And so this is what you can see, what I am working on. I've been posting 8 to 15 times a day. And so you can see that when you post, guess what happens? People start engaging with you. People start growing it. And this is how you can do that. So this is why I post. And I would bet Barry, if he looks at his numbers, is probably pretty high also. So these are why I post, because right now it's kind of a goal of mine of I want to hit 1 million views in 30 days just on Facebook alone. And so if you've been noticing, every hour there's a post from me. I haven't been posting it on my page as much, because it actually hasn't been growing as much as when I'm posting it in my group. So I still got to figure out how to post on my personal page to get really good engagement, but I'm working on that. Heck, if I didn't have money, I would buy a box of yard signs, $10 a day on Facebook, and put it on my credit card. Bet on yourself. People want authenticity on social these days, not a bot. People want to see and hear you, not long-ass posts from AI. And again, this is Dylan, and people don't want to hear you complaining about being cheap. The cheap $99 junk guy. Guess what? That's why your average ticket is low. That's why you're not able to get $8 a foot. I'm just being honest. If you want my honest opinion and you're going to come on my page and you're going to blast me, I'm going to be honest right back to you. Because if you want to grow a business, and you're in one of the second probably wealthiest areas in the country, Seattle, right in the middle of Seattle. There's no reason you're not getting $8 to $12 a foot or more and selling the magic. Because when we worry about the bulb and we want to be the cheapest bulb and we want to talk about being cheap and all we're doing is cheap, cheap, cheap. My question is how many people have you gotten off of TikTok on the customer wise? That'd be my question. Let's grow a business. Be positive. Talk positive. Be positive. Everybody wants to know why does Daniel do so well? Because he's not letting negativity hold him back. He's getting positive. When he talks on the phone, he's got a smile on his face. He's excited, and he's answering these phones. And if you don't have that, you better have whoever's answering that phone have a smile on their face, nod in their head, and be excited. Because if you're not excited, you're going to lose money. It is what it is. Barry, 100% engagement. It's what it's all about. How to get people engaged and stuff. Don't worry, Jason. Remember, if you don't have haters, that means you're not doing something. You're not doing nothing. So let's get the haters up. That means you're going more. And it is true. 100% true. Big day today. Here's a guy that Jason Hefner, right? Jason Hefner. Let's talk about old Jason. Jason is a guy that he was one of my very first mentorship guys. He was one of my very first guys that joined my mentorship. Not my membership, but my mentorship. It's my higher tiered program. It was Boxer back then, one on one. And when he first started, he's a full time firefighter. He still is a full time firefighter. And he was a broke firefighter. They didn't have a lot of money. His wife works at a private school. They send their kid to a private school where she works at. And the money that they spent was their last money they didn't have much money. And so when I first started with him, one of the first things he said is Jason, you just don't understand. Down here in Florida, you can't make money. All there is $99. And he would send me post after post of the $49, the $69 guy, the $79 guy, the $99 guy, the $39 guy. And I kept getting post after post of the $99 guy. And I just told him, you got to quit looking at them. Quit thinking about them. And guess what happened? He stayed on charging the prices. I told him the price. And he does $250,000 to $300,000 a year part time. Because he don't work weekends, he don't work Saturday and Sundays, and he only works Monday through Friday. But as a fireman, you either work typically 2 of those days or one of the 5 days. So you're a fireman. And he's also a paramedic. So it's not like on his firefighting job that he gets to sleep all night, right? He don't get to sleep all night because he's a paramedic and he rides the buggy a lot. So with that said, he does $250,000 to $300,000 part-time doing a pressure washing and Christmas light business because he quit worrying about being the cheap guy. He always worried about the cheap guy. And I'm like, you just got to stop worrying about the cheap guy. Because if you worry about the cheap guy, you're going to become the cheap guy, and then you're going to become what happens to the cheap guy. And that's called to go out of business. So that's why we don't worry about the cheap job. We grew out of the garage, first storage unit. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Also partnering with a contractor adding value to the community. We partner with our neighbor roofing company to give hundreds of Christmas gifts, and in their angel tree, trust is built. Bearded Soft Wash says next door. Brian Fletcher, there's a difference in being old and cranky. Better to just be old. Don't be cranky. Choose happiness. And here's the thing with Brian Fletcher. Brian Fletcher is old, right? He is old. He's probably one of the oldest guys. He's not the oldest guy, but he's one of the oldest guys that I've ever trained. And he came to my class. Shoot, that's been 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. And he's been growing his pressure washing Christmas light business out of Southern Tennessee. And he's been doing Facebook Lives and posts from a long time ago. And so has Jason Hefner. Jason Hefner started posting them in the group, and then he started posting them out. And it works. We landed a $4,000 state of Alabama power washing job this week from our nonprofit community geared Facebook videos. By him doing nonprofit videos, landed him a $4,000 pressure washing jobs. Soul Winner 95 put, so do I need to hire a company for Google Ads? I've tried to use Google Ads and couldn't get it running properly to land leads. And I would say that if you are going to run Google Ads, either learn how to do them or pay someone to do them. Positive baby is what Daniel put. Jamie put mindset. Jamie had to get out of the ghetto mindset. You know, there's lots of, you got the poor mindset. I remember when Jamie came on here, he was like, I got to get out of the ghetto mindset. And so, again, it's all about mindset. Just got a request from a local hotel. Almost fell out of my chair. He just cracked open a Red Bull and fired up the kettle up. Going to be a long night. It's a huge job. I guess we keep going. Thomas put, speaking facts, LinkedIn is key for commercial. Most people sleep on it. Bearded Soft Wash put, I bought cheap. Yep, I hit on that one before. Nathan Clark put, man, I'm fired up for 2026. Going to be a stellar year. You know, Nathan Clark, I got all kind of stories. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Nathan Clark has been in my membership from pretty much day one. When he first came into membership, he asked 1,000 questions. He asked the same question, I think, 10 times, just 10 different ways. And he has grown. His goal was $20,000 or $20,000 or $30,000. This year, he's going to be real close to hitting $100,000 when his goal was $30,000. He actually came to one of my in-person classes. And then again, it's awesome to see how far Nathan has come. He is a great guy. He is a runner. He is Forrest Gump Jr. He can run miles and miles and miles. Got a good heart, brother, man. Telling the truth. Appreciate the wisdom. Awesome. 1 million in Christmas light sales. That's awesome. Is that what you hit, or that your goal? Next 30 days. Facebook 5 times a day. LinkedIn 2 times a day. TikTok 2 times a day. What is your goal? That's a tricky question. My goal next year is going to be a little bit different for me. I have my new shop this year. That was a huge goal for me to get into my shop and out of my garage. So I'm no longer live streaming and everything from my garage on a green screen. And so this year I've had several classes in my garage. Or in my barn or in my shop. I have the whole thing built out so I can do the shop. I've had pressure washing classes there. I plan on having some more pressure washing classes there. I plan on having some landscape lighting classes and permanent light classes and Christmas light classes this year. And one of the big things I'm going to be doing is I will be distributing products myself this year. So that is going to be one of the big things I will be doing. So I will be able to give better deals with I won't have to be the highest priced guy out there. So that is my goal for 2026. And I do have some product that I'm going to be clearing out my barn. I have a little bit of product in the barn this year. And so I will be having a list of materials that will be cheaper than what normal was, which would be anywhere from 10 to 20% off. So if you need any stuff, be looking for that. I'll probably be posting that tomorrow or the next day. And so if you want to know what I have, you can message me. You can message me at jason@christmaslights.io. You can message me on my Facebook, or you can message me at 855-619 5483, which spells light. If that's wrong on that last, spell the word light, LITE. So if you need some tax deductions at the end of the year, then that's where I would say to go at. If you can't benefit and change your life putting Jason's teachings into actions, that's a you problem. I know Jeremy has been a long time watching of me. And it's awesome. Jeremy's another awesome dude that has grown and has done amazing. I remember when he started following me and commenting a little bit, and now he comments all the time, and it's great to see him. And he kind of found his niche into decks. He started in pressure washing, kind of moved his niche into decks, and has been doing very well with it. So that is awesome. I break everything down to each service, hit the like button, marketing. Let's see, any other questions on here? Goal for 2026 is installing training. The negative people or the naysayers are a waste of energy. You have been great for the community. There is a lot of work, premium customers out there. Thank you for your content. My goal is to hit 750,000 K next season. That's awesome. One of my goals will be to be more marketing. I've got to learn it or get help with it. Crazy sum of someone just texted me 5 minutes ago about event lighting and charged $8 a foot. I heard today, no matter the religious text, do not fear is one of the most common phrases in religion. Mindset, mindset, mindset. What's up, Papa? How are you doing? I had issues with that. Literally in Kissimmee, Florida here. I love to sit with you and Jason Hefner because I work a full-time job and do this on the side. I just started doing this business this year, new to a lot of not to learn. We'll start selling single-story houses, $6 a foot, 2-story $9 to $10. My plan is during the off season is to go and buy some inventory and be ready to roll in Pensacola, Florida. There's a good market here. And here's what I'm going to tell you, man. You might think that's what I would tell you is to go buy material, and that is not what I'm going to tell you. In the off season, go find more work. Go buy. Can you do a bulk buy in January and February? Yeah. But if you only got $5,000 or $10,000, I don't want you spending it on a bulk material order. I want you spending it in marketing. You got to learn how to market. Get your website up. Get you your Google My Business up. Start posting pictures. Start whatever you need to do. Get customers. It's not about go buy all this material. It doesn't do you no good. Is it going to save you a little bit? Sure. But if I see so many people go buy this material and then they don't ever sell a job, I want you to go sell jobs. In Pensacola, Florida, you can get $8 a foot. You can get that. Don't start yourself low at $6 a foot. Go out there at $8 a foot. Don't sit there and think that you're not good enough to get $8 a foot. I believe in you that you can get $8 a foot. I know people in Pensacola, Florida right now getting $8 a foot, $8, $9 a foot. Don't be afraid to go after it. Don't go buy a bunch of material right now. I know that's what people want to do, and I stress this so much. I want you to go sell jobs. Go sell jobs, and then get the 50% deposit, and then you can buy the materials. Don't go out there and buy a bunch of material. I promise you, I'd rather you buy 1,000 yard signs this year. Buy 1,000 yard signs this year, and instead of buying a $3,000 worth of material, because those $3,000 worth of yard signs are going to make you way more money than that $3,000 worth of materials. I promise you, it will make you way more money. So go out there and hammer that hard. Hey Jason, how much longer are you going to be on? I'm about to get off here. I'm just trying to get through your all's questions. Mr. Tyler, how are you doing? My goal for 2026 is 10x what I did this year. I have several little projects for prospecting this year. One of the things I've done is got a Google and target local churches. The Lord has blessed me with tons of business with churches, and that's a great thing to be in. You know, I know a guy, when I had my business, we were getting $15,000 to $20,000 a year off of the big church, and now the guy's getting anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 off of one mega church for just Christmas lights alone. What do you think about trying to work with home builders to install permanent lights? I think it's an option. I would try it. Would you recommend I put out yard signs now for pressure washing, or should I hold off? I would probably hold off till February, unless you're in Florida. But if you're in a cold climate, nobody's really thinking about pressure washing right now. Ask for medium to high prices. Don't be afraid. If you don't ask, you will not receive. Have not because you ask not. Don't you want the high tickets? If you do, the work you deserve. It's more normal to get no's than yeses, right? And Tyler, you know, he actually messaged me today. And so it was great hearing from you. He actually took action. A lot of people don't take action. He actually took action, and he got to come to one of my classes for free because he took action. He showed up. I actually gave 3 away that weekend, and only 2 people showed up out of the 3. One person never showed up. So again, I've given other classes away, and people just don't show up. You have to take action. If you want to grow this business, you have to take action. If you don't take action, nothing will happen. I promise you on that. I 100% promise you. If you don't take action, if you sit there and you think, oh, Jason, you just don't understand. Excuse. Whenever I hear but, its next word is an excuse. Do you want to grow a business because you will never grow a business on excuses. Only thing you'll grow on excuses is more excuses. So take action and let's grow this business in 2026. So what I want you to do this week, I want you to figure out what's your average ticket, what's your close rate. I want you to write down what are you going to do in 2026 for the next 6 months. Now, if you just do Christmas lights, then maybe we don't post every day. Maybe we only post a couple times a day, 1 or 2 times a week for Christmas lights on our Google business page. But we are still going to write down what we're doing. But maybe we're going to call 20 churches a day, 20 dealerships a day, 20 funeral homes a day, 20. How many calls are you going to call a day? If all you do is Christmas lights, how many people are you going to connect with it? How many people, and write it down. If you're going to do LinkedIn, I want you to write down this number. Are you ready for this number? 200 connections a week. I want you to link up with 200 people every week. And you know why it's 200? Because that's all you can. You can't do no more than that. So I want you to connect with 200 people every week. It starts over on Sunday. So if you want to do it Sunday, and then the next Sunday it'll start over again, or you can do it during the week. But I want you to connect with 200 people every week on LinkedIn. And I want you to comment on 5 people's posts every day. I want you to leave a comment, because when you leave a comment, it just works a lot better than when you're sitting there doing the other stuff. So maybe you find doctors, maybe you find lawyers, maybe you find property managers, maybe you find facility managers. You're going to find different people on here. And this is what I want you to do for you to grow your business. I want you to do this. So again, I want you to write down, what are you going to do the next 6 months? If all you're doing is Christmas lights, well, Jason, there ain't nothing I can do for the next 6 months. If you have that mentality, you will not grow in 2026. I promise you, you will not grow what you can. If you take action and you focus all year on this Christmas light business, this is how you can get to 500. This is how you can get to $1 million a year or more, because you focus. And what you water grows, right? If you're trying to water pressure washing and Christmas lights, they're probably not going to grow as if I took all my energy and just put all my water into the Christmas light business, or all my water into my pressure washing business. Because, well, Jason, it's wintertime. Okay, what's your point? Can't you do blogs? Can't you do posts? Can't you do all these other things? And then one other thing too, on this thing here. So I want you to write down how many Google posts you're going to do, how many Facebook posts you're going to do. I want you to write how many LinkedIn posts you're going to do. I want you to write down how many yard signs you want to do. I want you to write all of these things down, because the reason why I want you to write these down is because this is what you got to do. Because if you want to grow, I want you to grow. I don't want you to not to grow. I want you to grow. And this is how you grow your business. And I just lost my train of thought on that one. What was I going with? Because I just came up with another one. LinkedIn, Google My Business, yard signs, Whether if we're going to do Facebook ads, we're going to put how much are we going to spend on Facebook ads. We're going to spend how much we're going to post on Google there. Shoot, I had it. There was right there on the tip of my. When you get old, you lose your sight, and sometimes you start losing your brain. But I will think of it come up, and it's done. But again, this is something that I want you to hit on very hard. Is it more normal? It is more normal to get no's and yeses. I got yard signs. I've done about 20 houses this winter. Permanent Govee lights. How do you post pictures often on business page and find that I gain more customers based that way? So word of mouth. If you get every job you bid, you're too cheap. If you reject brothers, bothers you really bad, then you need to work on that. It is hard. If you bid $8 or more and win the jobs, you do good. They talk to other clients that they are in the same neighborhood as they are. For March of 2026, Sterling Wash has $23,000 booked. We're needing to double that. That's awesome, dude. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's funny. Tristan just did Macy's. I'm putting my info into their system to be their washer in the market because of a contact. Yep. Neighborhood app. Pressure washing and Christmas lights next door. So, again, if we want to sit there and be successful this year, fill out your marketing calendar. Either take a calendar, write it on a sheet of paper, whatever that might be. I used to give something out, and I had a spreadsheet that, I just want you to start writing it down, because when you write it down, you will start thinking about it, and you can start figuring it out and growing the business. And some of this stuff we can automate. Some of this stuff we just got to do the work. If you don't know how to post, I'm going to be talking more and more about AI in 2026. I'm going to be probably doing some one-off trainings of AI to help you how to get your LinkedIn better. I'm going to help you to get your Facebook better, because these guys that are posting 10, 12 times a day aren't just coming up out of the brain with it. So this is what it is all about. Write it down to hold you accountable. I agree 100% on that, right? Write it down to hold you accountable. And so with that, I know I actually went for an hour and 15 minutes tonight. If you need any Christmas lights, christmaslights.io. Again, pressure washing or kingofpressurewash.com. If you need a website, if you need marketing, go check it out. I can help you out in any way. Let me know. If you want to know when I go live, you can text the word LIGHT, L-I-T-E, to 855-619-5483. And so with that, have an amazing week this week. We're a week away from Christmas, or a little bit over a week from Christmas. Stay safe out there. Take care of the family. Spend time with the family. And then we'll get ready for takedowns after that. And with that, have an amazing week. And we'll see you all later.